A defining moment for Rick Perry came last month during his first debate on the big stage. He was asked about the death penalty.
Your state has executed 234 death row inmates, more than any other governor in modern times. Have you struggled to sleep at night with the idea that any one of those might have been innocent?
No, sir, I've never struggled with that at all.
We've talked about the cheers there for the death penalty. Almost as shocking was Perry's answer, especially after a closer look at one particular execution on his watch. The state of Texas executed Cameron Todd Willingham on February 16, 2004. He had been convicted of murder in 1991 after fire tore through his house, killing his 3 daughters. The arson evidence against him was debunked by a team of experts. Now 2 filmmakers are again drawing attention to this great injustice with their new documentary, Incendiary, the Willingham case. Watch.
Crazed glass was the most classic of the old wives' tales. He thought that because the glass in the windows had been fractured in a fine spiderweb pattern, that this again is something that only accelerants do and natural fires don't because of the rapid heating of the glass. We put on demonstrations of this. Put a glass pane across a couple of bricks, put a Bunsen burner under it and turn it on. And what happens is the glass cracks. It never crazes. And then we take the hot glass and throw a little water on it, and it crazes.
Joining me now, the producers of the documentary, Steve Mims and Joe Bailey. Joe, what do people need to know about the execution of Mr. Willingham?
Well, he was executed by evidence that would not be probable cause for arson today. If they were to find that evidence in a fire today, we would not be able to call it an arson fire. It would be ruled an accidental fire. We wouldn't have had a trial. There would be no trial at all.
Now, let me ask you, Steve. Yeah. Did we have access to any of this before he was executed? Could this execution have been avoided?
Yes, it could have been.
What did we have, and why was it not avoided?
A fire scientist who lives in Austin, Gerald Hurst, wrote a report. And in that report, he went over all the indicia of arson and found that they weren't accurate. And that was part of an appeal that went to the governor, went through the process, and to the governor ultimately that was denied.
So there was a report given to Governor Rick Perry that said this evidence was not credible.
Right.
What did he do with it?
That's really subject to debate because the briefs prepared by his attorneys have been held as confidential, and the Houston Chronicle has sued for their disclosure under the Freedom of Information Act. Governor Perry's office has refused to disclose any of those documents, so we really don't know how closely he scrutinized the report.
But we do know that Willingham was executed and that the governor could have stopped the execution.
He could have asked for 30 days so that that information could be circulated to other fire scientists in that amount of time to see if it was accurate or not.
Right. And he did not.
He did not. Yeah.
Tell me about the forensic commission that looks into this. They almost got to the bottom of this, right? They started digging into this evidence, and 3 of them were fired by Rick Perry.
That's right.
Yeah, so the governor removed 3 commissioners. In their place, he installed John Bradley, who was a close political ally of his. And Chairman Bradley, over the course of 19 months that he was chairman, really delayed any sort of public examination of the Willingham case.
But this is dealing with whether or not that execution was justified or not, or was correct, and not dealing with the evidence.
Yeah, the idea of the commission was just to look at problems and find a way not to have it ever happen again.
There seems to be a lot of conflict between Texas politics and science. Thank both of you for joining us, Joe Bailey and Steve Mims, for being with us and talk about your documentary Incendiary, which is now being shown in theaters. For more information, go to incendiarymovie.com.